You think you're eating safe, organic eggs, premium cheese, fresh deli meat. But for seniors, these trusted foods are quietly sending people to the hospital and even the morgue. Listeria, salmonella, and deadly toxins are hiding in everyday meals, striking hardest at older bodies. Before your next bite, you need to hear this. It might save your life. Coming in at number 7. Listeria in Heat and Eat. Chicken fettuccine Alfredo meals. Fresh Realm's chicken fettuccine Alfredo looked like the kind of dinner you could grab, heat up, and be done in minutes. Sold under big-name store brands at Kroger and Walmart, it promised convenience, but it came with a hidden danger. 17 people got sick, 16 ended up in the hospital, 3 died. One of those losses was a pregnancy. These aren't just numbers, they're real people's lives. What makes it worse for seniors is how Listeria acts. Unlike most bacteria, it can survive and even grow in your fridge. That means a chilled meal that looks perfectly safe can still carry the bacteria. Fresh Realm's recalled meals were in the refrigerated section, ready to microwave. The exact kind of thing older shoppers pick for convenience. The best buy dates included mid to late June 2025. If you've got any of these in your fridge, throw them out. Listeria doesn't always hit like a stomach bug. It often starts like a cold or flu, fever, muscle aches, fatigue. For older adults, it can move into the nervous system, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, even seizures. For pregnant people, it can cause miscarriage or stillbirth. If you're 65 or older and ate one of these meals and you feel off, call your doctor right away. Don't assume it'll pass. This one spreads beyond the gut and needs antibiotics. There's a second risk, cross-contamination. Listeria can hang around in your fridge, on containers, cutting boards, even shelves. If a recalled meal touched your shelf, it could have touched your salad too. Clean your fridge. Toss open packages that may have contacted the recalled meals. Retailers were told to clean deli cases and throw out open meats and cheeses. The same rules should apply at home. Here's a question. Do you check the establishment number or sell-by date before microwaving a ready meal? Or do you just trust the brand? Share your routine. And if you've ever found an alarmingly old Best Buy date lurking in your fridge, spill it below. We thought ready meals were harmless convenience. We were wrong. Up next, deli meat that didn't just make people sick, it revealed a plant crawling with mold, insects, and pooling blood. Keep watching. At number 6, we have boar's head deli meat listeriosis, one of the worst ever. The boar's head outbreak reads like a horror story you can't unsee. It started with liverwurst and snowballed into a recall of more than 7 million pounds of meat from a plant in Jarrett, Virginia. By the time health officials finished tallying, around 60 people were hospitalized and 10 had died. Many were older adults, the exact group Listeria hits hardest. Inspections at the Jarrett plant uncovered stuff that makes your stomach churn. Black mold, mildew, crawling insects, rancid odors, and even pooling blood on the floors. Regulators didn't just find a slip-up or two, they logged dozens of violations across multiple inspections. This wasn't a one-off mistake. When ready-to-eat meat comes out of a place like that, it's not just one package at risk. Everything rolling off those lines could carry the bacteria. Why seniors are especially vulnerable? 2 reasons. First, deli meats are usually eaten cold. That shortcut skips the heat that could kill bacteria. Second, aging immune systems don't fight off Listeria as well, and this bug can move fast from the gut into the bloodstream and brain. One contaminated slice of liverwurst can be the start of a serious infection for someone over 65. The recall touched liverwurst, bologna, ham, salami, bacon, and more, including both store-sliced deli items and packaged meat. If you or an older person in your life bought deli meat sliced at a counter in mid-2024, check the recall lists. Even unopened packages from that plant could be dangerous. You trust your daily sandwich only to find out the room it was sliced in smelled of mold. That's the scale here. This isn't one bad package, it's millions of pounds of meat made where basic sanitation didn't exist. Be honest. If you learned where your favorite deli meat came from, would you still eat it? Or would it go straight in the trash? The next deadly food outbreak is already out there, and you won't hear about it until it's too late. Subscribe now before it reaches your plate. Next up, we will talk about number 5. Frozen sprouted beans carrying salmonella. This one looks harmless in a carton. Brown eggs, cage-free, organic. The label screams healthy. But behind that wholesome look, these eggs became a salmonella delivery system. And older adults? They're the ones who end up in the hospital. The FDA and state health departments traced a strain of Salmonella enteritis to eggs from August Egg Company. Across 10 states, 134 people got sick, 38 ended up in the hospital, and 1 person died. The outbreak stretched over several months in 2025. The company responded with a recall covering multiple lot codes and sell-by dates. If you've got these eggs in your fridge, don't gamble. Throw them out or return them. Why seniors are at risk. Salmonella usually hits with diarrhea, fever, and cramps within 72 hours. Healthy adults shake it off in a few days. Older adults and people with weaker immune systems, the bacteria can escape the gut, move into the bloodstream or organs, and land them in the hospital on IV antibiotics. The FDA warns that frail and elderly people face severe, even life-threatening infection. This isn't just numbers. It's the difference between a mild stomach bug and an ER visit. How contamination happened. Investigators connected the outbreak through interviews, purchase records, and lab testing. Whole genome sequencing matched the salmonella in patients to bacteria from August Egg Company eggs. This wasn't a local farm issue. These eggs were in grocery stores across multiple states. That healthy carton your adult child bought for grandma could be on your local shelf. Look at every carton of August Egg Company brown cage-free and organic eggs. Check lot numbers and sell-by dates. If they match the recall, don't eat, serve, or sell them. Seal them in a bag and throw them out or return them. Wash your hands, utensils, and any surfaces the eggs touched. Cross-contamination spreads faster than most people realize. Why eggs matter? Many think organic or cage-free means safe. It doesn't. Salmonella can be inside the egg before the shell even forms. Cooking kills the bacteria, but handling raw eggs, cracking them, or letting yolks touch unheated foods spreads it in the kitchen. For older adults, even small exposure can turn serious fast. Here are some practical tips for seniors and caregivers. Eggs are easy, quick, and nutritious, which makes them a common exposure point. Caregivers need to check every carton, inspect lot numbers, and remove recalled eggs immediately. Keep a screenshot or photo of recall notices for reference. If someone develops diarrhea, fever, or persistent vomiting after eating these eggs, call their doctor and mention the product. That detail helps clinicians test for salmonella and act fast. Imagine a carton labeled organic, cage-free in your fridge. Looks safe, feels healthy. One carton like that can quietly send your mother to the ER. That's reality. Do you check lot numbers for recalled eggs or just toss and hope? Share a time you found something dangerous in your fridge and what you did. Remember, organic doesn't mean sterile. Treat eggs, especially raw or lightly cooked, as a potential risk until you're sure. And just when you think eggs are the only danger, the next outbreak shows how even ordinary, healthy freezer items can hide serious risk. Coming in at number 4, soft cheeses in France that may have caused deaths. This one hits differently. It's international, it involves products people actually buy as treats, and it comes with real consequences. French authorities traced a cluster of Listeria cases to soft cheeses, Camembert and Brie, from a dairy called Chavagrands. Over 20 people got sick, 2 died. Victims' ages varied, but at least one fatality involved an older adult with underlying conditions. France and neighboring countries pulled products off shelves fast, issued recalls, and sent out public health alerts across Europe. If you have soft Camembert or Brie in your fridge from a recent run, check the brand and lot numbers immediately. Don't taste test. Why is soft cheese risky? Even pasteurized milk cheeses can pick up Listeria after pasteurization, during aging, handling, or packaging. Soft ripened cheeses like Camembert and Brie are especially vulnerable because their moist surfaces let Listeria survive and grow. Guidelines already warn pregnant people, older adults, and anyone with a weak immune system to avoid these cheeses. The French cases make it clear. For someone over 65, soft cheese isn't a harmless indulgence. Here's how it played out. Infections started in June and ran through August, spreading across multiple French regions. Chavagran products made it into major supermarkets, triggering broad recalls in France and exports being pulled elsewhere. Authorities shut down the older production line and started tracing how contamination happened. Batches can travel far before anyone notices. So if an older person bought a wheel of camembert at a Saturday market, it could be part of the problem. What seniors and caregivers need to do now: stop eating any soft cheese if you're unsure of its source. Check brands, product names, sell-by dates, and lot numbers against official recall lists. Found a match? Toss it in a sealed bag or return it for a refund. Clean shelves, utensils, anything the cheese touched. If someone older ate it and later develops fever, muscle aches, stiff neck, headache, confusion, or stomach issues, call a doctor right away and say, possible Listeria exposure, so testing is considered. Why it hits older adults harder? Listeria doesn't stay in the gut like Salmonella. It can move into the bloodstream and brain, turning mild symptoms into severe, meningitis-like illness that requires hospitalization and long treatment. Deaths in outbreaks like this mostly involve older adults with weaker immune systems or existing health problems. Imagine a festive cheese board turning into a potential vector for serious infection. One bite of brie can escalate to antibiotics, hospital stays, and weeks of recovery for someone over 65. Would you give a slice of camembert to a grandparent? If yes, which one, and why? If no, what's your safe substitute for a cheese board? Fancy cheese doesn't mean safe cheese, especially if the person across from you is over 65. The lesson from France is clear. Listeria doesn't care how familiar or fancy a product seems. A bite of brie might threaten an older adult in Europe, but the next outbreak could hit convenience foods closer to home. At number 3, we have Listeria from Irish ready meals. This one started as routine quality control and ended with hospital beds. Ballymaguire Foods, based in Dublin, made a wide range of fresh, ready-to-heat meals that showed up on shelves under Tesco, SuperValu, Aldi, Centra, and other private labels. Routine testing and traceback linked these meals to a cluster of listeriosis cases in Ireland. By the time public alerts went out, 9 people were confirmed sick and 1 adult had died. Authorities acted fast. They recalled all batches and use-by dates from the implicated run, and the plant temporarily halted production while it was cleaned and investigated. Why seniors need to pay attention. Listeria doesn't behave like most food bugs. It can hide in chilled, ready-to-eat products and survive in cool temperatures. For younger, healthy people, it might just cause a mild stomach upset. For someone over 65, it can cross into the bloodstream or brain. Suddenly, a routine meal becomes a medical emergency. IV antibiotics, hospital monitoring, sometimes ICU care. The people most at risk? Exactly the ones who rely on prepared meals for convenience. Older adults, those with chronic conditions, anyone who counts on easy-to-heat food. How it spread and triggered the recall. Irish investigators used patient interviews and lab testing to trace the strain back to Ballymaguire's facility. The recall quickly grew to include over 140 ready meals and sides, lasagnas, cottage pies, chicken curries, pasta bakes, even some packaged vegetables and mashed potato sides. Since these were sold under multiple private labels, the same contaminated batch could appear under different brand names, a hidden web that makes recalls confusing. Authorities made it clear. All batches, all use-by dates, were affected. No date was automatically safe. Cross-contamination and reheating habits made things worse. Many seniors microwave meals and eat straight from the tray. Microwaves heat unevenly, and Listeria can survive in cold spots. If a contaminated tray touched a fridge shelf or utensils, that bacteria could spread to other foods. The FSAI and HSE told consumers to toss or return recalled products and sanitize any surfaces they touched. Clean your fridge shelf, wipe down containers, and don't assume a quick zap in the microwave will kill everything. Listeria can start like a bad flu, fever, muscle aches, but in older adults, it can escalate to neurological symptoms, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance. Symptoms can appear days to weeks after exposure, making the connection to food tricky. That's why doctors rely on patients mentioning possible exposure. If an older adult develops fever, severe headache, neck stiffness, or sudden balance issues after a ready meal, call the doctor and say, possible Listeria exposure from a ready meal. That helps clinicians order the right tests and start treatment fast. Early antibiotics can save lives. The private label angle makes this sneaky. You might remember the store brand but not the manufacturer. That's why official recall lists include both product descriptions and establishment approval numbers. Caregivers should screenshot the list, check codes before serving, and throw out anything uncertain. If you bought a ready meal recently from any major Irish supermarket, check the list. Don't play taste test. Imagine trusting a plastic tray that promises heat and serve, and finding it carried bacteria that can cross into the brain. One bite, one silent hitchhiker, one drastically different morning. If you regularly buy ready meals, what's your go-to brand or dish? Would you swap it after this? Drop the name. You might help someone avoid a recalled batch. Convenience shouldn't come with a hospital bill. Check the label before you heat. Up next, another ready-to-eat risk, this time from U.S. sandwich counters. Everyone who got sick ended up in the hospital. Keep watching. Next up at number 2, Listeria in ready-to-eat sandwiches and snacks. Fresh and ready foods, refrigerated sandwiches, wraps, and snack items looked like the kind of quick grab-and-go lunch you could trust. But this outbreak turned that trust into a nightmare. Lab testing found Listeria lurking in the fresh and ready facility, and whole genome sequencing tied those bacteria directly to sick people. 10 people got infected. Every patient with available information ended up in the hospital, and at least one person died. The infections stretched from late 2023 into mid-2024, with environmental samples confirming the link in 2025. When the FDA and CDC issued recalls, they warned, don't eat these sandwiches, wraps, or related snack items. Here's why deli sandwiches hit seniors so hard. Ready-to-eat sandwiches are made from multiple ingredients: meat, cheese, sauces, salads, and any single contaminated piece can taint the whole meal. Most of the time, they're eaten cold. That skips the safety net that cooking provides. For anyone over 65, one contaminated sandwich can lead to serious, invasive illness. This outbreak proves it. Every known patient required hospitalization. If you're buying pre-made sandwiches for yourself or an older relative, consider this a flashing red warning. How did investigators pin it down? On March 31, 2025, the FDA took environmental samples at fresh and ready facilities. Genomic analysis showed the bacteria in the factory matched the bacteria from sick people. That's the smoking gun in food safety investigations. The factory itself likely held the bacteria, and contaminated products made it to consumers. The company recalled affected items on May 10, 2025, and public health warnings went out. Some products had been sent to multiple stores, meaning a single contaminated production line can spread danger far and wide. For home safety, check use-by dates and product labels if you or a caregiver buys pre-made sandwiches. Fresh and ready products were sold under different store brands, so compare UPCs and dates carefully. Toss suspect items in a sealed bag, clean the shelf, and sanitize knives, boards, and containers. Even unopened packages could be part of the contaminated run. Don't assume store-packed equals safe. Symptoms can start mild but escalate fast. Tell your doctor if you've eaten a recalled sandwich. Blood tests and spinal fluid cultures may be needed if Listeria moves beyond the gut. Older patients often require IV antibiotics and careful monitoring for nervous system involvement. Immediate medical care is crucial. Do you grab store-made sandwiches or always make your own? Ever had one from home or a store make you sick anyway? Share your story. And if you thought sandwiches were the worst risk, wait until we dive into eggs labeled cage-free and organic. The numbers might shock you. Finally, at number 1, Salmonella from cage-free and organic eggs. August Egg Company looked like the kind of breakfast choice you could feel completely confident about. Brown, cage-free, organic. You might imagine it's a safer choice for yourself, your parents, or an older relative. But these eggs weren't just breakfast. They became the center of a multi-state salmonella outbreak that turned hundreds of homes into health hazards. After weeks of investigation, officials confirmed 134 illnesses across 10 states and one death. At least 38 people required hospital care. These aren't just numbers on a report. They're families disrupted, routines upended, and most importantly, older adults facing serious risks. So how did it come to this? Investigators didn't rely on guesswork. They started with patient interviews, tracing what people had eaten, where they shopped, and which brands they picked. They examined food purchase records and tested leftover samples. FDA teams went straight to the source, testing samples at the company's facilities. What they found in the laying houses shocked even seasoned investigators. Salmonella matching the strain that had made people sick. Whole genome sequencing confirmed the link. That's what moves an alert from possible to definitive. In response, August Egg Company voluntarily recalled roughly 1.7 million dozen eggs. The recall covered brown cage-free and brown certified organic eggs sold under various brands. Fresh egg sales were paused while the company worked with regulators to correct the issues. Specific plant codes were affected, like P6562 and CA53I, and certain Julian or sell-by date ranges. If you keep eggs in your fridge, it's worth checking the carton. Even if the carton looks clean and new, those codes could put it on the recall list. Why should this matter to seniors and their caregivers? For younger, healthy adults, salmonella usually means diarrhea, cramps, maybe a rough couple of days. Older adults face a very different reality. Their immune systems aren't as strong, making it easier for the bacteria to move beyond the gut. It can cause severe dehydration, bloodstream infections, and require IV antibiotics in a hospital. In this outbreak, roughly 1 in 3 people with available information ended up hospitalized. That ratio alone shows why older adults and those caring for them need to be extra vigilant. Salmonella contamination doesn't care about organic, cage-free, or any other label on the carton. The bacteria can originate from infected hens or contamination during handling and packing. Even eggs that look perfect on the outside can harbor salmonella on the shell, or, more dangerously, inside the egg. Freezing and refrigeration won't reliably kill it once contamination occurs. That's why regulators acted quickly, pulling eggs from stores and alerting restaurants. Understanding where the danger hides helps families take control. Contamination can occur on the farm, during collection, or at processing facilities. Infected hens can shed the bacteria directly onto eggs, and sloppy handling can spread it further. Equipment that isn't properly sanitized, employees not washing hands thoroughly, or even cracked eggs left sitting too long can allow salmonella to multiply. For older adults, even a single contaminated egg can become a serious health threat. So what should families and caregivers do? First, check every carton for plant codes and sell-by dates. If you see any that match the recall list, toss them or return them to the store. Keep a photo of the carton or the receipt. It makes cross-checking much easier. Second, separate eggs from other foods in the fridge. Store them in their own container or on a dedicated shelf to avoid cross-contamination. Third, clean any surfaces that come into contact with raw eggs. Cutting boards, counters, and utensils need a thorough wash with hot, soapy water. These small steps dramatically reduce the risk. Caregivers should also rethink how eggs are served. Raw or undercooked eggs, whether in custards, hollandaise sauce, or lightly scrambled, pose a bigger risk for older adults. Cooking eggs until both the whites and yolks are firm is the safest choice. That extra minute of attention could prevent hospitalization. Even beyond the kitchen, habits matter. When shopping, don't assume a carton is safe just because it's organic or cage-free. Those labels don't guarantee zero risk. Take the time to inspect packaging and store receipts or take a photo for reference. It might feel tedious, but for an older adult in your care, it can make the difference between a normal breakfast and a serious health emergency. Now, here's a practical scenario. Imagine you've kept a favorite brand of eggs because you like the taste or the farm they come from. Weeks later, you find out those same eggs were recalled. What do? Do you toss them immediately or return them to the store? How you respond could prevent someone from ending up in the hospital. Sharing your experience with family, neighbors, or online communities can help others avoid a similar crisis. The bottom line, labels sell comfort, but they don't guarantee safety. Organic and cage-free sound reassuring, but Salmonella doesn't check for labels. Check plant codes, sell-by dates, and recall lists. Store eggs carefully, separate them from other foods, and clean surfaces after handling. Cook eggs thoroughly for older adults. These steps aren't complicated, but they are crucial. Before you go, the next deadly food outbreak is already out there, and you probably won't hear about it until it reaches store shelves. Hit subscribe now so the next alert comes to you first. Share this video with someone who shops for an older parent or grandparent. It could keep them out of a hospital.